Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Roger Pack Show. It is I, Roger Pack, and thank you for being here this evening. Just me with Keone. Hi, Keone. Hello, Keone. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Ah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You know, it's been 2 weeks since we last visited, and I tell you, it's been a wild 2 weeks. There's been a lot that has happened, and you just got to take it with stride. And taking things in stride look a lot different when it comes to how you get support, right? Like how you get through those tough times. And support looks different for everyone. Support can be in person, support can be through people you play video games with or you communicate with on social media, for example. And when you're thinking about what it takes to get through what you're going through, you may use different avenues or a combination of the above. I am a grateful person because I have the ability to have a support system both in person and via social media, right? There's a lot of friends because I'm not from where I live currently. I am from another state. So I still keep in touch with those people in that avenue. But social media also has its downsides, right? As soon as you go looking for support, there's also usually people there to not give you support, right? Kind of knock you when you're down or try to rub salt in the wound to make it seem like maybe it's your fault that you're in this situation, which that could very well be true, but that's not what we're here for, right? We didn't open the door to an opinion to say, hey, is this going to be what we a blame game. This is a I need some support to be able to get through these things and how to work with them and a little motivation to get along the way. But sometimes, oh, and by the way, Keone, it is rolling on Instagram just fine. Just FYI. So it's one of those things where when you go and put yourself out there to your social media family, your groups that you're in, whether it's trading recipes, looking at trading video games, how to, you know, use yarn, how to crochet blankets. There's always going to be the good with the bad. There's always going to be someone that is like, why are you being nice? Or doesn't want to be nice when you're going through these platforms to get this support or to find others that, take interest in the hobbies and activities that you have. And it's something that you have to be able to take in stride. It's something that you have to be able to when you see something bad happen, it's almost like in real life, you see something, say something, but in this case, you see it and that's your choice. You can choose to engage it. It's not in your face. It's not in person. And I think that's what empowers a lot of people to act the way they do on social media sometimes is when they go through this avenue of using a virtual platform to be able to speak their mind or tell somebody a feeling or an opinion about how it is. That's just something that you have to accept. That's something that people get very comfortable with doing, and it's very easy to get lost in the comments when you're looking for support or when you're talking about your favorite video game and you go through a character build or a favorite level and someone is not doing that. Someone doesn't enjoy that level or that character and has a different opinion about that. And I think at times that you have to be able to take a step back and not get tainted by those comments. You can not engage them, but you're always gonna see them. You don't have to reply to them, but you're already always gonna know that they are there. And I think one of the most important things is not to let what the bad has done to weigh out what good comes out of this. Because social media is a double-edged sword. It's a coin. It's a coin toss as to whether or not it's going to be used for good or used for bad. Because ultimately, is any tool, any device, any you name it, something you drive, something you operate, something you use, is always neutral until it is in the hands of the one using it. That's when things can be used for good or things can be used for bad. That was a pretty good start, wasn't it? Welcome to the show. That was my monologue. Hi, everybody. So today's basically going to be about social media, right? The pros, the cons, the goods, and the bads. But the main takeaway I want you to take from this episode this evening is that nothing is inherently good or bad. Nothing, not a single thing. Anything that you come across in life is not inherently good or bad. It is what happens when the person or people get behind it to use it. Social media has done a slew of good things, and also at the same time, it's done its fair share of bad things. Now, if anyone would like to join this conversation, you can see the link in the chat, and that will allow you to dial in, say hi. We can have a quick conversation about your thoughts, feelings, and discuss how you've landed there. So, I would encourage you, if you wish to engage, go ahead, jump on it, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. But until then, I'm just going to talk.
Did you say we were going to talk about thoughts or thoughts? Because that's two different things.
A little social media thoughts, they're both on social media. So, you know what I mean? It could be a combination of both because like we could Dr. Seuss it and be like, what are your thoughts on thoughts?
Uh,
Get it? Get it?
okay, so
Thoughts and
just to
thoughts.
let you, it's your second show, so sometimes they're hit and miss. Sometimes you get a lot of engagement, like we did on the first one, and so far
Mm-hmm.
we haven't had any, but that's okay. I want to ask you, tell me, who do you love that's famous out there? You love what they do on social media, and who do you know that's famous out there that you despise what they do on social media?
And
And we can't and despise. We can't use Trump. That's an easy one.
oh
Somebody
yeah, because that's an
besides
easy
Donald
target.
Trump. That's an easy one.
It's an easy target. Yeah, very for sure. Taylor Swift is probably my favorite by far, like leaps and bounds. Because not only from a branding perspective is she just amazing when it comes to how to execute and how to get engagement and how people like will rally around her to be able to get in a position of she says 5 words, says one, puts one emoji, and a million people have liked it. It is an amazing thing what she is capable of doing, and I think she also uses her social media for good when it comes to, like, social things and speaking out and, like, making very clear, crystal points of engagement because that's social media. If you're not crystal clear on social media, people can take what you say out of context, people can misconstrue it, and it's very easy for a single word in a social media post to be taken completely the wrong way, and people will take it, and it's wildfire. Run with it. There you go. You're banned. You're canceled.
Well,
More.
that's why you say stay away from these three topics: religion, homophobic, sexist, and racial. That's four. Racial stuff. If you stay away from those four topics, you should be good. But hey, every now and then, it's gotta happen. But the thing that you were saying earlier, um, about Taylor Swift, her team, they are really, really good at utilizing social media. Some people are great at it, and some people are terrible at using social media.
And it's one of those things where if you I firmly believe that if you're not the smartest person to be able to do it, you need to find someone smarter than you to do it because there's only one way to do it and to be successful, right?
Smarter
Like
within your budget.
smart or and within your budget, like, 2 very easy things, right? And it's one of those things that I firmly believe that if you use it for good and you can have a discussion about topics because honestly, I would love to talk to someone who is homophobic because I want to understand why. Like, what makes you like feel like this? What makes you want to like be this way? Is it because you think like someone's gonna hit on you? Is it because you
Well,
think
you
that
know what? That's the ones who are the most outspoken against, you know, homosexual people are usually people that homosexual people don't want to hit on. Like
exactly?
they're over there ranting, and it's like my friend Sean always says, "You're safe. You don't have to worry. You're safe over there. You know." Um, and
Because
so
you
those are the
think
people
you're
that are always
like
the
a
most.
9 and you're not a
Yeah,
9, you're like a 3, and it's like,
yeah.
"Sir,
First
sir."
of all, no one's hitting on you in the stratosphere that you're in. What do you think we watch it for?
Right. Like, you're not getting any on the side of the fence that you're playing to, so, like, I don't know why you think you'd get any on this side of the
And then
fence,
we've
and
seen the macho, the over macho, over masculine, over I have so many quote unquote hose person that you can tell there's something else going on there. You're trying way too hard to prove your masculinity.
way too hard, and it's one of those things where if you have to go that hard to prove it, you're convincing yourself, you're not convincing anybody else. And I guess delusion is a thing because if you can convince yourself of this, that's absolutely fantastic. But if you have to convince somebody like else and
Uh,
you haven't convinced yourself, that's not how that's going to work.
it's just
And
they them on social media. It's and then trying to have a discussion with them on social media and comment. It's like hitting your head on the wall. I wonder what my friend Sean thinks about this topic.
it's
About
and I firmly
about
believe in
hold
being
on, wait, go ahead.
I firmly believe in being able to have like a stable conversation about the why you feel like it, like why you are homophobic. The where I draw the line in having a discussion to a full blown like this is not up for a discussion is when you get into like the human rights aspect of it that like I you don't have to accept the fact that I'm a homosexual, but you
Uh,
do need to accept the fact that I am a human being and that I'm still allowed to like be on this planet.
yeah, but you
That
said you want to have a conversation about it over on social media. Are you talking about on video or are you talking about in a chat? Because in a chat is going to be very different.
oh, can I do both? Can I like, go
You can, but
incognito on the
the
chat?
conversations when you get into these, they usually don't stay civil.
And that's the thing. I wish that we social media has brought out a lot of um gosh, what's the best way to say this? Social media has brought like the very chaotic energy out in all of us, the inability to be able to hear someone's difference of opinion and like formulate a response that is still again, there's a line when it comes to the opinion, but like to be able to formulate a response and stay civil because again it's one thing you don't accept that I'm gay and there's a lot of people that I've encountered in my lifetime that still treated me like a human but did not accept that aspect of me.
Yeah, but do you think some of that anger is because of opinions? Like we all want to have our opinions, but I think what gets me angry, it doesn't even have to be homophobic talk. It can be religious talk. It can be political. It could be sports. It's when you give someone something that is a fact and they respond with to you within my opinion. Well, my opinion, it's like I just told you one plus one is two. What do you mean in my opinion it's four?
Right, because people will see that well this is a fact because they'll either take a unique scenario like a one-off situation and believe that that is the new rule, that is the new standard, which 9 times out of 10 it is not, and they're able to find some type of argument that will back up what they say but is not accredited. And that happens a lot especially with the hurricane, right, with Helene. That's just Western North Carolina is still recovering from that. There's still a lot of people recovering from that. A lot of misinformation that's very easily debunked, but other people are finding ways to use the information they're getting in their opinion because they're finding sources that are not accredited that just keep regurgitating it. They keep pushing it. And that's where I think is social media, the accountability should be. It's a free speech, yes, but there's a difference between free speech and factually incorrect and satire. I'm all for satire. I love it. The Onion, love their satire articles. They are great. If you believe them, if you think they are real, you're the reason why we need the warnings from sticking forks in like outlets, right? Like
Like
you
the
are
moon
the
landing
reason
is
why.
fake.
It thank you.
It's like I told somebody the other day, if you think the moon landing was fake and everyone's been keeping a secret, Do you know the art of keeping a secret? There are way too many people involved with the moon landing for all this time for it to still remain a secret. There are
Yep.
hundreds to thousands of people by 6 degrees of separation that know everything that went on during the moon landing.
Yep. And it
Somebody would have said something by now.
and
It's
not
just
only somebody would have said something, but like all it takes is like one leak, and then that's what breaks the dam, right?
Sean
Like,
said flat earthers.
flat,
Sean said flat earthers. You gotta love flat. Have
I,
you ever had hold on? Have you ever had an argument with the earther?
Mhm.
What was that? Hold on. I want to get Sean in here to describe what was his argument like with the flat earther.
Well, I mean, it was well. First, it was at a bar, and we were both drunk. So I was more having fun than anything. Um, but it was fun. What were we were arguing about? Oh, it was about flat Earth, and he said, "Well, have you ever seen the Earth from a wider view?" I was like, "No, that's not possible. First of all, we can't. We're not able to see that like from a first person view,
Yeah, you can
rather.
only see one side. Like you don't. There's no
right.
camera to show you. You can't see all the
You
sides.
can't
Right.
see that. You know what I'm saying?
It's like asking, "Can you see the front of me and the back of me at the same time, sir?"
I was like, dude, have you seen an elephant? And he was like, no, I haven't. I haven't seen an elephant before. I was like, but you
Not
know it
that.
exists, right? It's like, well, does it? And I was like, okay,
Uh,
good night. Good night.
Sir, you have a great evening, and
This was
I hope
fun. Whatever I'm like, whatever this was, I enjoyed it.
you have not reproduced. Thank you.
But
We
we all know
appreciate your contribution.
but we already know he probably already did.
yeah, that
Yeah.
gene pool is gonna continue.
And what do you do? Because I like one of the things about me is that I was very until a certain age where I could explore knowledge and things on my own. I was very much by the what my parents and grandparents said was law. Like they could tell me it they could tell me that the sky was red and I would be like, "Yo, it's red." And I would argue with people about it. But like it all comes down to that person probably was never like taught that they could like think for themselves, so they had to drink the Kool-Aid, you know? And
Some people,
ele
I think they're just actually trolling because, like, when you talk to them, it's like you're making a living out of this. You can't really believe what you just said out of your out of your mouth.
it's
If
so
if
stu
if the Earth was not curved, like all the planes would be flying wrong because you have to factor in the curvature of the Earth. Snipers would all be terrible. They'd
it's
all
I
be
mean,
terrible.
it's common sense because we've seen enough pictures from outer space to deduce that in fact the Earth is in fact round. We've established this. We have satellite imagery that establishes these things. Like we don't even need to take a picture of the front and the back at the same time. We can tell from the back that it is in fact round. And it's like when presented with facts, I think one's opinion either should change and they are mad about it but have to accept it or should change and they're like, "You know what? I was wrong because I wasn't aware of these facts, regardless of like due diligence, and you didn't research enough, or this is a new phenomenon, a new update, and you don't have like you didn't have the ability to adjust it, but you still need to be like, hey, this is wrong. Like, I'm sorry for this being incorrect. But you have to have those conversations. Like, you got to do those things
Well,
and be able
to
to.
tie it back into the social media that you're talking about is people will take a social media post and without any research or finding the original article, they will just run with it. I remember on Twitter, it was their Black History Month. And for those of you who've never seen me, because my voice will fool people sometimes, I am black. Okay. But let me come on screen for a second because somebody told me I was lying last time. They're like, "You're not black." Ah, look at that. I'm black. Okay, we're good. Okay. So, um, it was during Black History Month, and somebody put on tweet a picture of a person, and they put that person created this wrench, but because he was black, they called it the monkey wrench, stole his idea. And then so all the tweets after that was like, "This is what happens. White people are evil." Blah 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 blah. And it took a white history professor to tweet, "The person in the picture was born 100 years after the monkey wrench was invented. So please do your research before you guys just go whatever's posted."
And that whole thing right there undermines the whole, like, purpose of trying to establish what real history, you know what I mean, is? Like, you didn't do your research, you push this narrative, which makes any other accusations up from this narrative completely invalid because we've debunked it. And it's like, "Well, this one must be fake too." And it's like, "Well, now we've started that."
Well, that's where that gets dangerous. That's where
Mhm.
that gets dangerous. But I mean, you had to do that before social media. Before social media, when somebody presented something with you, you went to this thing called a library to do
And you
some
research.
research. uh, I think Denzel Washington says it all the time. If you watch the news, you're misinformed, and if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. So what do you do?
Exactly.
So I'll get in arguments with
Exactly.
some people. I'm like, "Where do you get your news from?" And they say TikTok or Twitter.
Goodbye.
And I'm like, "Well, do you just go with that, or do you like look up?"
Goodbye.
Yeah. And even when people make references, they'll have like the link to the original source, and who goes to check that?
It's in the comments.
It's in the comments.
Mhm. And it's like, at this point, especially when they see, like, a headline, right? And that
Mhm.
headline, like, fits the narrative, but, like, when the headline is when you actually open the article and, like, dive into it, it was clickbait, and you realize that this piece of information you shared is nowhere near what you thought it was going to be. And you didn't look at it, you just took it for face value and you ran with it, and you don't take the time to go back and research or find out if this is, AI pictures. AI pictures are wild. They've gotten
It's not even the AI pictures. It's the AI fake interviews with the voice. Because the pictures you can sometimes tell it's AI when
yeah,
they
you're
have
like
somebody
8
do a whole
fingers.
press conference or say
When they
something.
glitch out,
Yeah, and it's like, wait, that wasn't real. And people have run with it. They have faked out actual news stations. They have faked out everybody with these
Mhm.
AI generated comments.
I just
And
know I'm not going to say anything proudly with my whole chest if I'm not confident. I'm not going to argue anything. I'm not going to promote anything if I'm not going to be sure. And I'm definitely if I'm going to talk
Uh,
about it, I ain't going to be like I'm not going to be sure about it because I'm not going if
I
I'm
agree
not
and
with you
it
because I hate saying I'm wrong.
And it's
yeah,
one thing to, like, if you're having a discussion to, like, garner knowledge, to learn more, right? To actually learn something about it, but it's another thing when if you're not sure about it, you don't say something about it because
right.
you never knew who's listening to it. It's gonna take that and run. And I think that's a good this is great to talk about, like, all of the negatives for that because, as you said, they'll see it on TikTok and then they'll share it, and then they'll repeat it, and the algorithm picks it up, and then it becomes trending, and then this piece of misinformation is being spread amongst everybody, and people are having to either go back and some people will do this. They'll be like, "Hey, this is wrong." But then it goes back to the comments and what we were talking about being civil is that when you actually present people with those facts, especially in the comments saying, "This is actually what happened. This is like the 3 or 4 sources that are accredited that all are saying the same thing." Well, this is fake. This can't be true. I will not have my opinion swayed, or I will not be made to be dumb or wrong. And it's like,
Yes.
look, you're
Hey,
not
hey,
dumb.
let's leave. We're not gonna let's leave MAGA out of this. But
They're
speaking
eating the
of MAGA
cats.
in
They're
they're
eating the
eating the cats,
dogs.
they're eating the
They're eating
dogs.
the cats.
They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Ruining it.
It's like when somebody tells me 20 million illegal immigrants have come. I say, okay, first of all, that number's wrong. Second of all, the only thing you're counting is how many immigrants come in and they seek asylum, which was between 10 and 11 million. because no one's at the border with the like a bouncer with the club clicker clicking how many illegal immigrants come in the country. So where are you getting that number from? Who was at the border doing the
Clicking,
count of
clicking.
how many?
Don't click for that one, John. I already got this one.
So,
Like, come on
yeah,
now. Like, how are we
yeah.
really?
So Donald Trump says 20 million, but the number is around 10 to 11 million, and they're not illegal because if you come to this country and seek asylum, you are doing it during a legal process because that's the law, you know.
The
So,
federal law.
but people will take it and they will run with it, and that's but that's a sign of that.
And it's if you're going to my thing is if you're going to be wrong, right? If you are going to spread this misinformation and not change when new facts are presented to sway that opinion, you have to be able to accept the ramifications that come with that.
Oh, no, 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 no. Nobody wants ramifications, and sometimes the ramifications are wrong. Somebody on TikTok did a video of, and they weren't black, of why we should be able to say the N word. And they said the N word about 17 times. And then I made a comment that you have the right to say the N word, but you have the right to be punched in the face if someone that you said that to gets angry. I got reported and I got blocked and not the
Ah!
person who was doing that. So sometimes, you know, it doesn't fit where it's supposed to go. Okay.
And that's one of those
Wait,
things
Roger,
where
are you're into Were you the one? You're into Pokemon, right?
yeah.
Okay, my friend is having a meltdown because somebody hacked
I'm
into.
gooning
Okay.
and debating.
Wait, do you know about that, Roger?
I do. I do
I'm
know about that.
gooning. I'm gooning.
Wrong show.
I
Sorry.
Wrong show, Sean.
Sorry.
wrong
So
show. Wrong
for
show.
the people who don't know, tell them about. Hold on, Sean. You tell them about what happened. I want to hear Roger's comments on this because he
What?
knows about it a little too. About what happened, like what you're all over heels about. What happened
So,
with
so
Pokemon?
I mean, I guess so you know about it, right?
Yeah, the leak from Game Freak about Typhlosion and all them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just Typhlosion. It's a whole terabyte of like
Somebody hacked in there.
pre-information, like old sketches of old undone Pokemon, like scrap Pokemon from all generations. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
like you see what Florges looks
You can see
like,
Roger's
and it's
face.
like they're official original sketches for most Pokemon, and Pokemon that made it to development and got scrapped. It's a lot of stuff, and even lore, like it's a lot of stuff that's leaked. So I guess my opinion on it is that like my only thing is that we we haven't gotten any information about Legend ZA. So
He's doing this. So I think that
okay,
means spot on.
okay, yeah, we haven't had anything. So we are
Thank you.
ready. We are hungry for
And then we
Pokemon
get this.
information. We're hungry for Pokemon information. So somebody hacks into the system and leaks a bunch of stuff. Yes, let's dive into that. But you notice this trend of like old Pokemon designs that they eventually bring into later
Find
generations.
their way. Yeah, they find their way out
So
into the wild.
the cooled ones that we see in these leaks, it's difficult to see it because they'll probably never actually make it to a game. Game Freak will probably like be done with all of those scrap designs. They'll never probably make it to the game. People are loving this little bunny, this little water bunny,
I know.
and it's
It's
probably never going to make it to the light of day.
it's it's so funny because I was like, "Oh, there's a leak. Oh, we're gonna get some new information." Because Scarlet and Violet
Mhm.
was trash, and I will not hear
Oh
otherwise.
no!
Wait, did
Like,
you say it's trash?
yeah, it was.
Okay, first of all, Roger, Scarlet
That's
and
it. So
Violet
this is his
is
first Pokemon
was the
game.
first Pokemon game I ever bought, owned, and played. So I have a
Aw,
difference of opinion with
aw.
that. I do get annoyed at how easy it is to battle Pokemon until way later in the game. Because as a person who's played sports games and fighting games, I want more of the challenge. So it's like but it's a necessary thing that you need to do.
And you got the
Right.
worst. You got the worst version of the game.
I did.
Yeah, like Violet is not superior to Scarlet.
So why
Scarlet
did
is
you
the
have
best.
me pick that one?
Well, because you got the other Pokemon. We
Well, you
can
could have told me to get.
they're version exclusives in both games. So you got one, I got one, and we could trade for whatever we needed.
We don't want to talk about
See?
trades. All right.
There you go.
So,
There
Trade
you go.
hey, but did these leaks? Where are they being pushed on? Social
Social
media.
media. It's funny
Twitter.
because the four things I took away from the Game Freak leaks, the four Pokemon, two that I really read up on, and the other two, I kind of was like, I don't want to know anymore because the child in me might literally die. I I read about Typhlosion, I read about Octillery, and then
That's crazy. Those were crazy.
wild,
Those were
wild.
crazy.
I'm like, why would you leave this somewhere where someone can take it?
You guys already
Like
know. Wait, wait, wait,
who?
wait.
But
You
who?
guys already know. I'm already in my head. My producer hat's on. You two are having a Pokemon episode with him on camera on one
Mhm.
of these episodes. But go ahead, continue.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But it's like the child in me does not want to know anymore. And then I started reading about Lapras, and I was like, nope, nope, nope.
Wait, for those of us who don't know what you're talking about, why did you say your
So
childhood
the
might be?
type when he mentioned Typhlosion, there's a lore that was leaked from the origins of the that Pokemon's lore. Is that it? Was it that it takes 15-year-old girls and
Yeah,
deceitfully impregnate her
What?
yeah.
Wait, why would that be a even?
and make a baby him just to trick
Why?
her.
Why do they have to be 15?
I don't know. They're like young girls. I don't
Well,
know.
you
First
do have
off,
a Pokemon that you told me about that kidnaps kids.
But I'm
So
with him where it's just like, why did who allowed this to be scanned into the system?
who?
Who did this?
It's like back in the '90s and
it was
'80s when people
Epstein's
have
friend. It was one of
it's
Epstein's friends.
no shit.
Wait, was
Like
that the
it's
Digimon? Was
So
it?
so let me say this one more thing. I will say this: some Pokemon are a lot of Pokemon, and especially in Japan, where Pokemon originates, they have yokais. So a lot of times, yokais are those like ancient tales that sometimes
hmm
it gets a little,
Yeah, yeah.
PDF
Oh
file.
yeah, but back then when that story was told, 15 wasn't like a ridiculous.
Right. So like
right.
a lot of that stuff could come from that. I'm not.
But like you were saying earlier, who like Dr. Disrespect always says, who at the board meeting was like, yes, Matt, great idea. Let's get it on the slate and see if we'll look at it later.
Jinx.
So you think
Jinx.
Jinx, Jinx?
Who's Jinx? Who's Jinx? I'm such a dude.
Jinx is a Gen 1 Pokemon that ended up being a black face thing.
Oh,
Because it was black. It was a black Pokemon with red lips.
what?
And I
Why?
mean
Go look it up.
big lips.
I,
Big lips.
wait. Oh my
JYNX.
god. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I'm gonna put it on the screen.
No, type in original Jinx.
It is so yeah, type in original Jinx. And I'm gonna say what I have to say in the background. But you think about in the '80s and '90s, right? When people done had outrageous house parties and you had to take pictures to get developed, right?
Hmm.
When you think about you're getting those pictures back and you see pictures that you throw that picture out, it doesn't make it into the photo box, it doesn't make it into the album. Who read this text and was like, Typhlosion, baby, human woman, now? Okay, approved. Who
Baby.
Baby. Wait, say that. Say that
who
again.
did that?
So I don't know. I don't know much about the Octillery one. What is? I haven't read the Octillery one.
All right, so the Octillery run is the Octillery one is this man was walking on the beach and he finds an Octillery and he does some questionable things with this Octillery and throws it back into the ocean and it
Oh,
comes back every day for the next I think it's like week or something like that. And the last time he comes back, he thinks it's going to be there. It's not there. It's actually a child because it's their child from all of the yeah. So
What? Okay,
What?
now I don't want to watch any of this anymore.
What?
it's wild. I'm like
There
again.
we go. There
There
is
you
the
go.
old Jinx and the new
That's
Jinx.
crazy.
Yeah, Jinx
That
was
is
what
insane.
my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Red. Okay, so I
Okay.
am an OG. That's Gen 1 Pokemon. So I am an OG Pokemoner.
Oh,
And
you
that
are. I heard
that
from Sean that Gen 1 people don't like Gen 2 people, but well, that's a whole different discussion.
it's funny because I am a Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and then I stopped playing until Sword and Shield. And I'm just now getting back into it.
Okay.
Um, but this was the Jinx. The
Yeah.
Jinx that's black was the Jinx that was in the video games and the Pokemon shows.
Yeah,
Okay? Like the old Pokemon shows, the OG Pokemon shows, which I think have been edited to include Purple Jinx.
they changed her quick.
Mhm. Mhm. And
Uh,
it's funny. It's wild because these are the same people, like, if you look at, like, the, designs of, like, the characters and stuff, how much it changed when they, like, actually released it into the wild and, like, made it public. So
Yeah,
it's I was like, "Y'all, why did y'all put this here? Like, why did who allowed this to happen? Could we not have gotten some information about ZA or maybe the next generation of Pokemon?"
they
Like,
say they say you're going to get a game next year, and that's it. That's nothing else. Nothing else.
and that Drifloom, that's the one that takes your kids. Uh-huh.
yeah, this is the one I was talking about. This
The
is the
what?
one y'all said steals children.
Yep, that's
Mhm.
Drifloon.
This is Bloom.
Yep.
Mhm. It's wild. The lore on some of these Pokemon are wild, which we'll save that for a Pokemon episode because I
Yeah.
really I want to do like some heavy research on that and find like the most outrageous ones to talk about both good and bad. But
I would love to be on this episode.
perfect. Keone, you know what to do. Make it happen. You're the
Oh,
producer.
I'm already thinking about the
Say
Shonen and
less.
Roger Pack Pokemon podcast.
I'm hollering.
Say
I was
less.
telling my friend that is the one topic I can talk about for days.
Because it's so like Pokemon is such an important
Well,
part.
So
and it's also here's the thing: anything you start that has a rich history,
yeah,
yeah, if you have a passion and it has a rich history, oh,
yeah,
you could. That's why sports is such a passionate thing. It has
right.
a history and people are passionate about it. If you want to start talking about something that came out 2 or 3 years ago, you're gonna run out of material after a while.
So my first game ever was Pokemon Silver.
Mhm.
So I'm a Gen 2er.
We're
Ah,
gonna have to
okay,
change the
okay.
title of this episode to social media and Pokemon.
No
Uh,
kidding. I was about to say we veered off that path of social
Are you
media real
drinking
quick.
water out of a moonshine glass or are you drinking moonshine?
It's a mason jar. First off,
oh,
I am a southerner, not a hick. And yes, it is water.
Oh.
screaming.
There's a difference, right?
Classy.
There's a
There is a difference.
there's-
You said, "Am I drinking moon?" I listen. Back in the day, that easily could have been moonshine, but I am 36 now. Oh,
Oh
shit.
geez, you're so old. God, yeah,
I would
you're
be laid
ancient.
out in the floor, dying, like begging for my life to end because
Wait a
that
minute.
was
You're supposed to get better at this, not worse.
Huh, yeah, right, right, yeah, tell that to my liver. It's like, "Listen, you did way too much when you were a kid. You're not no, mister
how
in
do
my early
how do
20s."
you handle trolls on social media, Roger?
I just if it's worth the response or, like, if I'm intrigued enough to answer, I respond.
Oh,
If
it doesn't
I
go by your mood.
No, no, it doesn't go by my mood. Because I try really hard not to make, like, emotional decisions when it comes to my mood. Because we are human beings and we are all emotional. And I
Um,
firmly believe that if you make an emotional decision, you're not going to really like it, but sometimes it works. I would just rather not because I know that with emotion comes like these blinders, right? And all you
mm,
see is what that emotion is focused on. And so if I don't do things based off my mood. If I'm not feeling it, I just don't engage it for a little bit. I just am like, I don't want to do this. Like if I don't want to play video
Oh,
games
you
anymore.
are so different than me. How do you handle trolls on, especially when you were when you had the when you were bigger on Kick? How do you handle the trolls? I handle trolls based on how I'm feeling. So you're either gonna get a intelligent response or you're gonna get a I'm about to come for you response,
If
or
it
you'll
mo-
get ignored.
if it moves me to respond,
Mhm.
my best mo is to troll back, just to have fun. I guess if they're trolling, let's go.
No, you know
If
what I
we're gonna
started
do a
doing,
bit,
Roger? Uh,
if we're gonna do a bit, I'm all for a bit. Like I'm all for like
yeah.
if you really wanna push this envelope, let's do it. But also
Well,
at the same time,
this is
I'm
what
gonna
he's got me
be
doing,
logic.
and I stole this from you, Sean. I now just ask follow up questions before I start arguing. Like when people say certain things, I just simply just ask them a
Just ask
question. Yeah,
questions.
just ask questions and let them keep explaining it. And half the time they
Right.
just run
I
out of
promise you,
explanations.
people will self destruct.
Well, why do you feel that way?
Yeah, like,
Because they're letting the gays get married and it's destroying our society. So
and
when
then you have
when
to.
gays get married, what happens to society? It just gets ruined. And how does it get ruined? Because the kids can't get married.
And then you get even creative with the. So you think that if A equals B, then that means 2 plus 2 equals 7. How did those things correlate? How did you draw those connections?
Are
Like,
you connection to apples?
Where
this
was the
self-destruct.
common thread to tell
Right.
me that you can justify saying what you're saying and still
Yes.
believe that this is true?
Right.
Yeah.
What's your rationale?
Yeah.
What's going
What
on
is
in
your
your
rationale?
head?
Like the whole trans people shouldn't be able to use the bathroom that they identify as because we have to protect. I said, first of all, when people go to the public bathroom, do you know what they're going for to do? They're going to use the
I'm
bathroom.
not in there for more than
So
two
I
minutes.
asked this guy, I said, you have three daughters. Are you telling me that when they had to use the bathroom and they were out with you by themselves, you took them into the women's bathroom? He goes, oh, God, no, I would never do that. So you took them into the men's bathroom. Yeah, because they're my daughters and I can't just go into the women's bathroom. I've got to. So you took your daughters into the men's bathroom, right, to help them use the bathroom, right? Now, did all the guys that come in there, what they do? Did they go use the bathroom and leave, or were they interested in your daughters? And there's just like this short pause. Like, so you took your daughters into the male restroom because in your brain, you can't go in the women's bathroom, even though your daughters are women, because that would be inappropriate for you. So it's like using their own rationality, and then they start to
Exactly.
twitch and self destruct, like he was saying. It's like you can feel them twitching.
And they can't process that logic because once you start to actually have them lay
Oh wait,
out
no, no.
their
This is what he said,
rationale,
Roger. He goes, "Well, you take them into the family bathroom. You think every restaurant has a family
family
bathroom?"
bathroom, like, oh, I
Oh, but in the
like
family bathroom, everybody's in there. So what's your? So now you have men, women, babies, children.
and people would rather make the argument that on especially on social media that gay people, illegal immigrants, and trans people are destroying our society, but not these greedy, wealthy companies and billionaires that are quite literally
That's not
polluting
their
the
fault,
air.
Roger. That's not their fault, Roger. It is every generation's job to pick what is destroying society at the moment, and it's just our turn.
And
It's the
it's just our turn.
immigrants' turns, even though immigrants have been coming to this country forever. It's the immigrants' turns. It's the gays' turns. And what was the third one?
Trans people.
Yeah,
Trans
the
people.
trans people, which kind of, has taken some of the steam off of black people, which I am. But when you're black and gay, now you're back in the conversation again. So it's a catch 22. So you really
I
can't.
mean, and it's the fact that people think that like gay people
Ooh,
and trans people are of like the separate family. And it's like that's like
well, technically yes, but where would you put them to not have protection? Because when you think about it, Um, a gay person is what? It's a man who identifies as a male who likes men, just like a lesbian's a woman who identifies as a woman who likes women. If you're bi, you identify that you're a man or a woman who likes both sexes. When you're trans, you are not identifying as
a
what you
sexuality.
were born as. I'm not going to say what you are because that's not appropriate anymore. You're not identifying what you were born as. You are identifying as something else. And you run into the thing, well, you were born a man, but now you're transing into a woman, but you still like women. So are you a lesbian? Or you're a man who's transitioned to a woman, but you only like men. So you're not gay because now you're a woman. So it's a whole different stratosphere, and it's such a small population. That's why the uproar is ridiculous. That it can't be over by itself. It has to be over
That's a
here.
very valid point because I that's a valid point. It would get overshadowed, and I think it's so important nowadays, especially on social media. Like this is going to the pros of social media to be able to show representation for things, is be
Yeah.
able to
Well,
show
every
that
gay
you're an
person
ally.
doesn't agree with trans people either. Every gay person isn't out here supporting trans people.
Don't get me
So
started. Don't get me
no, no, it's
started.
not to get you started. It's to show people out there. They think because that we're all lumped in. Like it's just like you have black people who don't like black people and white people who don't like white people. But
Right,
Candace
and it's
Owens.
like,
right,
oh,
Candace Owens. But
I
every gay person is not on board with trans people. But hold on, I have a question for you. We only got 14 minutes left, but because we're gonna have a discussion on this, but a brief thing of who do you think has it harder, Roger, in the in the not the gay community, in the community uh, in the
of
world?
minorities.
No, no, no. In the U.S., who has it harder, white gays or black gays?
Now, 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 the fact that we have to ask this question. Because if you and I were standing together at Publix and we were writing a check, you know whose driver's license they want to ask for? My white ass. And so you'd like, it is wild that uh, uh, if you are black and gay, it's almost like people would tell you that God did not like you. And I'm like,
Jesus.
what? I'm like, "Huh?" And it's like I had never experienced any, like, until I was, like, 18, I never experienced, like, racism, right? Like, I experienced homophobia because I was out by then, but I never experienced racism until I
Hold on.
saw it
Uh,
firsthand.
Sorry, I forgot your comment. BZ Kunston on Instagram says we love mason jars down here. You're
We
right. I got
sure
more
do,
mason jars
bestie.
than wine glasses. Uh, that's why when somebody, and Sean can agree, when somebody would always say, call me the F word for gay or punk or sissy or anything, and they're like, you're not mad? I'm like, I'm a black man in America. I've been called worse than that.
I've been called better, worse by better, so, like, come at me, bro. Like, and it's one of those things where I'm like, if
Now
if I could
he grew up in the country. I grew up in the city. So even though it was different,
ah,
uh, I'm pretty sure it wasn't as bad in the country, right, Sean?
Yeah.
the countries.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
I mean, my graduating class to show you how, like, deep in the woods I grew up in, my graduating class is, like, 104.
it wasn't a wide population.
104.
Yeah,
That's
from
like
my
three
graduating
classrooms
class.
in my senior year.
Yeah,
I had
that's
like
how many.
600 people in my 700 people in my graduation.
Yep,
Um, where
104.
are you from, Roger?
I'm from Travelers Rest, South Carolina.
Okay, that sounds small.
It
You know,
is, it
some
is.
places just sound small.
I mean, it's on the up and up now. Like, it
Oh
is
shit!
it's
What they started
glowing.
up? They got a Ruby Tuesday.
I'm
It's
hollering.
I
no,
said, up.
they had a Ruby Tuesdays, and it's already closed down, and it's already I'm pretty sure it's a Cheddar's now, is what it is.
It's on the up and up. You know, you're in a small town when you walk by a random conversation and somebody goes, "They're getting the Wendy's on Route 6."
Right? Or, like, you're walking by someone and, like, they're talking about how great their night's gonna be because 'cause they're going to, like, the Pizza Hut for, like, the pan pizza dining experience to get the salad bar.
We going to Sizzler tonight. Oh, what's the occasion?
The
Yes.
Sizzler from where I'm
Uh,
from the country. The Sizzler from where I was 30 minutes from where I was. That's how
Fact.
much in the country I was.
Oh, wait. He brings up the point. You know you're in a small town when going out is going to the big town that everybody knows as the small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like seriously, like the closest town
Uh,
was noticed as the big town, but it was still small. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But at least they had
But they had
restaurants.
stuff that you didn't have.
Dude,
Right.
we just got a Dollar General, and that's the first commercial store that's been in the
Uh-huh.
history of that town. 10 years ago, maybe.
Jeez.
It's
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
get
we
our
just
first
got
Walmart
electricity.
with not electricity. Not
I'm just
elect It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny because
uh-oh.
we there was I had an outhouse for, like, the first, like, 2 years of my, like, life. Yeah,
Wait, Roger, you're 30. Wait, you're 30. You,
36.
you had a.
Well, we'll be 36.
Well, did y'all wash clothes in like the big bucket and put it on the
Mhm,
clothes hanger?
mhm. Put on the
Sorry,
clothesline,
that's
yeah,
a different kind of country.
yeah.
That
Like, with the
outhouse and you're
closest
washing
Walmart
clothes
to
in a
us
giant metal bucket.
the closest Walmart to us was an hour away. So, like, we would have, like, a little they were called in South Carolina, they were called Bilos. They weren't called that, they became Harris Teeters, and I think that's what they still are now. But we had, like, one of those little stores that was, like, 25 minutes in town, but if we needed, like, big things or, like, if we needed, like, other things, we'd have to drive an
Sound
hour.
like that was a family outing.
It was always a family outing because get this, this is really gonna get you going. When we had to make trips to Walmart, it was an occasion because we would go to Walmart, get everything that we would need, and then we would stop at the Applebee's for dinner because it was special because we were out.
You gotta get that hair did and get dressed up. We going to Publix. Can't be out here like this looking crazy. Oh,
Going to the Applebee's for that 2 for 20.
all right.
And
Well, guys, we're about to wrap up. We started with social media. We'll have another social media day. We didn't get the engagement that we got last time, which is fine. We talked about some other things. Uh, what do you think is going to be on the slate for next show?
well, there's a couple topics that I want to talk about. Video games being one of them, which ties into Pokemon.
Uh,
So, that would be great, but, video games is definitely something that's near and dear to my heart because it's always been my escape from reality and how
well,
they
let's
have
just talk
changed.
about. Let's just schedule it for the Pokemon video game talk.
Woo, woo. It's so funny because we're talking about social media and we're using social media to promote this platform. We are currently on social media if you wanna get real technical. I don't know if you called YouTube social media or like a media production
Yeah,
platform?
I would just stick with media. We consider it social. I mean, the social engagement is the comment section, but
True.
it is what it is. But we're also going to bring you guys segments, so look forward to segments during the show. Those of you who join as members, you're going to see some member only segments, that some skits that Roger's going to do. So those are going to be funny. But it was a great show today. It was great talking to you, Roger.
Everyone, thank you for being here. Nobody was here, but that's okay. We'll see you soon. And Keone,
Hey, wait. That's not true. We did, my bad. Thank you for watching on Instagram, Leela BZ, for all your comments. Oh, Roger, that's you. Shanice, I Got Dreams, Rebby94, John Wozniak.
oh,
Thank
that's
you all for
good.
joining and watching. Next time you guys are here, say some stuff, though. Don't just watch. All right?
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Bye.